Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another Strong Believers podcast episode. Today we have our beloved brother Ibrahim. We're going to be speaking about a bunch of things, about his studies inshallah, and about his reversion to Islam. How you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for the invitation.
Barakallah feek for coming.
No, it's a pleasure.
How you been,
It's
bro?
a pleasure. Alhamdulillah, I can't complain, you know. All is well. How's
Mashallah.
things going?
Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
How's training going?
It's good. I'm back on it now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been 2-3 weeks, yeah. It's going to
Mashallah.
plan.
I'll give the listeners a little backstory. Like how I met brother Ibrahim was on Instagram. He had a page, just motivational stuff. I think you were doing like muscle ups as well, right?
Oh, I didn't get there
You didn't
yet.
get there?
Yeah, I was close. Close. I was doing the calisthenics as well at that time, yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
It was quite motivational. I remember I was following him when I first started Instagram, and then I bumped into him in the masjid, and then I just been bumping around.
Yeah, I remember
we
it was just
bumped
by
in
the shoe rack.
Yeah,
And he was like, oh yeah, mashallah, you're on Instagram.
I bumped into you in Saudi as well, right? It was in Medina.
Yeah, subhanallah.
In
in
Medina,
the hotel.
Yeah,
It was in the same
we
hotel.
were in the same hotel.
Yeah, Ajib. Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah.
in
The hotel was
February.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, subhanallah.
I'm going back in February, inshallah.
Again this year.
Yeah, I go as a
coming year.
guide.
Oh, mashallah.
So when I went, that was my second time going as a guide. So
Yeah.
I take about a group about 50 people
Mashallah.
to 100 people, yeah.
Everyone from here, yeah?
Yeah, mainly, yeah. You land UK. Yeah, mashallah.
How long you been doing that for?
This is going to be like the fourth year. I only didn't do it in the year of 2017 because that's when I was in my year abroad studying Morocco.
Mashallah.
So that year I missed. Then when I came back, I did this February
Yeah.
where we bumped into each other again.
Mashallah.
Mashallah.
How are you finding it being a tour guide? Do you feel like you still get to do all your ibadah and have time to
Yeah,
yourself? and
because
stuff?
the main responsibility is teaching people how to perform Umrah.
Yeah.
And in general, people have questions. So just being there to ask questions when we're on the coach between Mecca to Medina, just teaching people the talbiyah or just giving them small reminders. We go on certain tours, like to visit Mount Uhud and Masjid Quba. Just giving people reminders and the benefits of these places. It's nice.
Mashallah.
It's nice.
What are some of the challenges you face when you're doing it?
Sometimes it's the biggest challenge is culture, not from an aspect of culture of practice, the knowledge inherited through culture. So in terms of sometimes you have to teach people there's certain things you don't do. But then imagine their grandfather, great-grandfather, all of their forefathers have been teaching them this practice, but have never taught them a hadith or anything that verifies that practice or justifies it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the issue you find.
Do you find that people are like reluctant to accept anything new? Like if you were to tell them that this is wrong, like what you've been doing is wrong.
To be honest, it depends how you tell them.
Yeah.
The key in advising anyone in general is how do you share that information. If I make you feel like you're worthless and those who have taught you this are ignorant, you're not going to accept that. But so obviously, as Muslims, we know we follow the Quran, the Sunnah, and the understanding of the companions. May Allah be pleased with them. This is the evidence. They are more accepting then.
Yeah.
And when you're seen as you have that position of authority of teaching, they'll listen to you as well. But you have to be gentle because it's not, in general, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
That's a key thing you have to understand. In general, people that don't have knowledge, it's not their fault. They don't know,
Yeah.
you see.
It's just what they've been brought up with.
Yeah.
And when I first started practicing as well, like there was certain things that we were doing in the house which was quite problematic. I had to say like we can't do this, and then eventually, alhamdulillah, like they
It
accepted
became
it.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes in the beginning stage, I remember one sheikh said, you always know who's a new student of knowledge. You always know, like the hamasa, that emotion to correct everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like we learn that first, that we have to correct things, but we're slow in learning how.
Yeah.
That comes a bit later. And sometimes you'll find in the beginning how you would have discussed certain things, corrected certain things, may not have been correct. It may have been a bit harsh,
Yeah.
or you could have done something better. Like when I first became Muslim, I cut off everyone. It's like, no, we can't be friends, we can't talk.
SubhanAllah.
It's like khalas. And it's like maybe years later, I wrote like on my old Facebook like a public apology. Like, had I known what I know now, I wouldn't have behaved that way,
SubhanAllah.
kind of thing.
How did they react to it when you became Muslim? Let's speak about when you first became Muslim. What led you to accept Islam and your religion? Like if you had any other deen before Islam, and then how was the reaction of the people around you? And then what happened when you?
So basically, before Islam, I was Rastafarian. I wouldn't say I was Rastafarian though, because I didn't know what it was, didn't truly understand it. But my dad was a Rastafarian, so by default, we was kind of compelled to follow what he was upon. At one stage, I had dreadlocks as well, until the age of about 13. So in school, I didn't know what a Muslim was, a Jew or a Christian was. I was oblivious, and in Islamic stuff, I mean, we had religious education.
Yeah.
And I remember, even when they discussed the topic of Rastafarianism, the teacher always asking me, and I'd get mad. Like, why are you asking me? You're the teacher. Just you teach the class kind of thing.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like the only Rastafarian in my school as well. There was only like 3, me and my brother and my sister, no one else. So it's like you kind of putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
But I didn't know nothing as well. So that was a way, like, you're the teacher. I don't even know this religion that I have to follow. I've got no choice. I've never even liked having dreadlocks. I've had no choice.
Yeah.
So it was like leave that out. You teach the class kind of thing. And then when it came to 2005, you find a lot of the younger generation started becoming active in giving da'wah. And I remember I was given that book, Illustrated Guide to Islam. I didn't even know about Islam, didn't know what Muslim was. But most of my friends in school, I went to Southwoods, they were from the Somali community. Many of them was Muslim. So they were talking about it. I mean, I used to always nearly fight my Turkish friend. He used to always try and talk. I used to get mad. I'm like, I don't even understand this thing. So we're nearly going to blows.
But wait, so were you giving out the leaflets before you accepted Islam?
No, they were giving it to me.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you were giving it out.
When they gave me this book now, I read it, and like, they gave me an English copy of the Quran. Even when we had the exams for religious education, you have like 3 religions you talk about: the Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I couldn't answer about anything except for Islam. That's the only thing I can actually answer a question about. So, and I've grown up, I don't even believe in anything, to be honest. Like, I didn't know. I didn't believe, like, I found out, for example, after I became Muslim, that Rastafarians worship Ali Selassie and take him as a god. I didn't know that when I was supposedly upon that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I was still in the fitrah, because there was no in detailed teaching of that practice anyway. So for me, Islam was the only thing that made sense. So I remember I just said to my friend, like, yeah, man, I want to become Muslim. I'm used to, at that time, we had a prayer room that was it was the football changing room on the football pitch. So we used to go in there to pray, and I took my shahada in there.
Inshallah.
Yeah. And I remember when I came out, subhanAllah, all eyes on you. Because like a long walk, the playground surrounds the football pitch.
Yeah.
And those times, there was a bit of like heat between those who became Muslim and those who are not Muslim. Like some people didn't like it. They didn't take to it well. So I remember it's all eyes on you. You're walking out the prayer room to the playground. And it's like, oh yeah, you're Muslim now, yeah? That kind of thing. But it was good, alhamdulillah. It was a good decision.
How did your family take it? Because
my dad at the time was living in Spain. So I didn't tell him yet. And my mum, I waited. Like, I didn't for about 6 weeks. I didn't tell them. One day I just wrote a letter in the morning, and I slapped it on the kitchen table, and I just ran to school. And then when I come home, I ran straight to my bedroom, like literally open door one time down the passageway to the room. Then you hear the footsteps following. Like, my mum came. And
how
she
old
was
were you
like,
at this time?
15.
15, mashallah.
And she was like, I did cry. She told me straight, yeah, I cried, but I know you're mature, and I hope you made you wasn't compelled to do this, and you just made the decision by yourself, kind of thing. It was funny though, because you know what, when in the early days I became Muslim, I was that Abu Hamza person, the extreme guy.
Yeah.
My mum had a dream that I was with him. I was like, nah, don't worry, I'm not on that at all. But I remember but the only issue you get with your family sometimes is the people around your family.
Yeah.
One of the things that was challenging at first, I remember someone said to my mum, ask your son if he believes you're going to hell. Yeah. And I was thinking about it only a couple of days ago. I was like, imagine that.
Subhanallah.
Like, not even anything else. But alhamdulillah, at that time I kind of had the good people around me to give me some guidance how I would even answer that kind of question.
Yeah.
Because alhamdulillah, we know we can never say to us, any person, you're going to hell. Because it could be akhir lahdat, yani, the last moments, they become like the people of Jannah.
Yeah.
And that's a person embracing Islam, the last moment. And they'll enter Jannah. So it's on how, yani, al-iqaba bil-khawatim. How you end is, and then it's Allah's decision, you see.
That's powerful. That reminds me of when the Muslims made hijrah the first time to Abyssinia.
No.
And then the Quraysh sent a few of their people to try and cause like anger and distrust in the king.
Yes.
And he said, ask them what they say about Jesus and stuff.
Yeah.
And they said, we believe that he's a slave and he's not God, and he's a slave of Allah.
Yeah.
And he said that, yeah, like I believe in the same thing. So their plan didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. They plan, but Allah is the greatest
Yeah.
of planners, you know, planners. And subhanAllah, even with that now, Allah is mentioning in the Quran, those who truly believe in Christianity, you'll find they're the ones who are closest to the Muslims. You see? When Allah says, لَتَجِدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودَ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا وَلَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُم مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى.
SubhanAllah.
You see? And you find that those who are truly Christian upon what Isa alayhi salam was upon, they're Muslim.
Yeah.
And when the message came to them, they embraced it. You see? And it's those who associate partners with Allah and have gone far astray, those are the ones who show the most enmity towards the Muslims. And I've experienced that. Those who are just, they believe in Allah, but they don't follow anything in particular.
Yeah.
You'll find there's times we've been given da'wah, and some people come with enmity, and I haven't had to speak. This guy that I was giving da'wah, he's the one who starts defending me. I'm like, alhamdulillah, he's here.
SubhanAllah.
You see?
So how did your dad take it when
So my mum told my
you
dad
sent him a
now,
message or email?
I
or
didn't
something?
send nothing to him. He sent me an email, like, long email, and it's like Dear Prince kind of thing. It was the royal address,
SubhanAllah.
father to son, you know. And he's basically was saying, obviously, I respect your decision kind of thing, but just wanted to know what made me inclined towards that. He was saying when he was young, he was searching and he became Rastafarian because what turned him away from Islam was the issue of Arabs and slavery. And that is a very common misconception that people are not aware of. The slavery prior to Islam was not nice. It wasn't only towards black people anyway. It was even Arabs were enslaved. The lowest of the tribes, they were slaves.
Yeah.
It was across the board, you see. But that generation, you find they're very sensitive in terms of the black community. But then we learned from Islam, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said, if it wasn't for Hajj and Jihad, I would want to be a slave.
Yeah. The scholars actually debate whether it's better to be a slave or better to be
The slave gets half the
free.
punishment. The slave has to eat the same food as the master, wears the same clothes as the master. And we have stories of the Salaf, when the child asks his dad why, that he gave one top, one trousers of alternate clothing to the slave, and he took the other. And he said, why? You can't tell the difference. You see, and that's Islam.
SubhanAllah.
Islam came and gave everyone their rights. And you find everyone who has that plot against Islam, they speak about feminism, they speak about racism and the likes. Islam, in its correct practice, is the solution for all of these issues. All of these issues.
Absolutely, SubhanAllah.
You see, I was speaking to someone just a couple of days ago. Do you know the biggest sign you want to know when these people have no faith? When they go through hardship. A spiritualist, let them go through financial difficulty. You see how strong their spirit is then. But none of them go to Allah, they'll go buy a lottery ticket and the likes. But we know, we go through hardship, and I believe it's a test. I've been taught that I get tested like this. We know exactly where we need to go. I haven't got money in my pocket. Who am I going to? I'm not going to a man first. I'm going to ask Allah. Knowing that these things are temporary tests, Allah is going to rectify your situation. That makes it easy for us. But anytime you want to test someone who's upon other than Islam in their faith, when they go through hardship, they will forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in times of greatness and ease, but in times of triumph, that's the only time they remember Allah.
Yeah. I was speaking to one guy once, and I was just giving him da'wah, and I mentioned to him the ayah. Well, I first mentioned to him that we're all upon the fitrah, and that fitrah gets awakened at times of like difficulty. Like you know, this I think it's in Surah Yunus, right? When Allah talks about the people they'll be on a ship, and when they go through difficulty in that ship, they'll make dua to Allah
call
only.
upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Yeah, and then when Allah takes them to safety, they'll forget about it and
Yeah.
they'll be ungrateful again. So I was speaking to him about that, and he was actually agreeing with it. He was like, you know what, that's true. Like in complete difficulty, they only turn to like the power of all powers.
And even the atheist, if they're on a plane and the plane gets a bit, the turbulence gets peak, you're gonna hear Allah's name. Obviously, if they're Arab, they'll say Allah. If they're not, they're gonna say God.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
See, I remember just that February we went to Umrah. Subhanallah, the plane within the first half an hour, you hear boom, like it hit something in the air.
SubhanAllah.
Like, Allah, you hear everyone straight, Allah, Allah. Like it was actually kind of funny, like just that realization. Everyone's returning to Allah right now.
Yeah.
You see, and the turbulence was strong. That whole journey, but I was just like, I look at the air hostess. They're calm. They have to be calm.
Yeah.
My thing, okay, just read Quran. If anything happens now, just meet Allah like this.
Yeah.
You see,
SubhanAllah.
but it's like it showed you that moment of time when you have no control of anything. Sometimes you feel you have the slightest of control. You're okay. You're in the middle of the air, in a basically a box. This is not under your control. You're just got a seatbelt and a life thing that comes out the ceiling. That's it. You're gonna be in the most fear. Just like when you're in the boat, you have nothing, and you're in the mouth of the water, and the water moves, and you see the waves coming. It's like, subhanAllah, this is in your face.
Yeah.
You know then the only one who can keep you safe is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This boat is nothing, because it's just a small thing in the whole ocean.
Yeah, SubhanAllah.
You see? And it's only Islam that makes you think of the creation in that fashion. How great the ocean is. You see? Allah said to the mother of Musa Islam, put your son in the ocean, in the lake. Like, who's going to do that?
Yeah.
A small basket. But it's when you have the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's true.
You know?
It's, I think Allah mentions about the birds as well, right? That Allah is the one that keeps them afloat.
Yeah. كل شيء يعني مسخرات. Everything is under the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
SubhanAllah. I think it's a reality check as well. Like when we look at these things and you really focus on it and you do tadabbur and you reflect on it, you realize like none of this can happen without the will of Allah. Like nothing. You just think about how are the birds like you know flying.
Exactly.
Like we can talk about how and stuff like that, but why?
No,
Why does the mechanism work in that way?
Yeah.
Like Allah talks in Surah Al-Balkhi as well about when you put a seed in the ground, are you the ones that make it grow, or is it us?
Yes.
Like we put the seed in the ground, we might water it, we might give it sunlight and stuff, but why is it that it reacts in the way it does?
Yeah.
Why does it grow like that? That's something that science can never
science
answer.
always tries to prove these things. And one of the biggest issues about science, everything's a hypothesis. It only becomes a fact when enough people agree upon it. And that's a fact according to them. You see?
Even then it can change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all based on deficient knowledge of man. Because Allah's knowledge is complete and perfect. It was never preceded by ignorance. But that mankind was first ignorant, and then only had knowledge of what Allah had given them. You see, and that's the biggest issue of science. That's the way they try to deny the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
But when we look in the books of the Aqidah of the Salaf, they'll tell you, if you want to know Allah, then ponder over the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will truly know that Allah is the one who has fashioned all of this. It's not possible. Night and day alone. It doesn't change. It's systematic in the most perfect way. But who did this? This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see?
There's I can't remember if it was a hadith or something along those lines of a Bedouin when he's asked about why he believes in a creator, and he says, you see if you were like, because obviously they're in the desert, he says if you look at the remainings of a camel, like the what's it called, excrement, you see it on the ground, you're not going to think that there wasn't a camel here. You're
Yes,
gonna know that
subhanallah.
a camel was here. So similarly, when you look at the rest of the creation of Allah, you know that it was a designer, someone that designed this whole universe.
Yes,
So, but some people now, subhanallah, use the same sort of thing, and they say we can use everything. It leaves like clues, and we can
yeah.
trace it back to how everything began, and then they come up with some
And it's
weird,
a claim though.
yeah,
It's got no
substance.
Yeah, no substance
Yeah.
at all. And it's like, I said, okay, you talk about. I said you can't even show me what a banana looked like 100 years ago. A banana, but we talk about evolution on a great scale. Come on, why is there still monkeys then?
Yeah.
Why can I not go to London Zoo and stay there for years and watch that monkey change into a person? Like it doesn't make sense anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It goes against the fitra tamaman. You see, and it's just the way it's money and power in that science industry that makes people believe this. You see,
Yeah.
but then it also goes to show that this guidance, it's not common sense. As easy as it is to understand, who made it easy for you to understand? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah said, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. You don't guide who you love, Allah guides whom He wills. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَآتَيْنَا كُلَّ نَفْسٍ هُدَاهَا وَلَكِنْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ مِنِّي لَأَمْلَأَنَّ جَهَنَّمَ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. Says, had we willed, we would have given every soul this guidance.
Yeah,
Would have guided everyone. It's not rocket science, but it's like guidance is of two types. You have guidance to Al-Islam, and you have guidance that Allah gives you knowledge and practice of Islam. And you see, everyone's on a different level. You see, but then it always goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels that don't disobey Allah, they say, we don't have knowledge except for that which you have taught us. You see.
And they're the closest creations to Allah in terms of like being above and
subhanAllah.
being given wahi and all of that stuff. They're the ones that bring it to us.
And they were way before we was created.
Yeah.
You see, way before we was created. Allah says, even in most simple, everything is in the Quran, subhanAllah. It says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Were they created from nothing, or did they create themselves?
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Just looking at our own self, beyond looking at other signs, is sufficient.
Yeah.
Sufficient.
Absolutely. Speaking of knowledge, how did you start like your journey to knowledge?
So
what made you take the leap?
When I started practicing, when I was about in 2009, 10, up until I became Muslim 2016, 15. For about 4 years, I was still playing basketball, trying to make it professional and that. So I wasn't really focused. I was praying and fasting.
2016 or 2006?
2006, sorry. Did I say 16?
Yeah.
2006, yeah. 2005, 2006.
I was thinking, you can't be like 20 years old, bro.
Yeah, no, 2006, yeah. April 2006.
Inshallah.
So by 2009, 10, I started practicing. Do you know what's funny? My name's Ibrahim.
Yeah.
And that was someone helped me choose that name. When I was born, I wasn't circumcised. So when I started practicing, when I got circumcised. I got circumcised when I was 19, 20.
SubhanAllah.
And it's because of the story of Ibrahim Al-Islam I had to do it.
Well, that
He did it himself.
Yeah?
I was like, there's no way I can be. And that day I felt like I became Muslim.
SubhanAllah.
Wallahi, that day I felt like now I'm a Muslim.
MashaAllah.
And straight away I went to the Birmingham conference, Green Lane. That was the first time I encountered seeking knowledge. And it was so nice. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Just to get it right, you didn't circumcise yourself, right?
No, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. We would not be here today. the iman
Just
is
in
not
case
that
you
high.
wanted to emulate everything Ibrahim alayhi salam did.
Yeah, no way. No way. But for
MashaAllah.
me, that was the turning point. 2010,
Yeah.
December. Just before the conference.
What made you start practicing though? Because I know like a lot of
My basketball coach was Muslim from Iraq.
oh subhanallah.
And he used to always have this face like, Ibrahim, you're doing the things. That's we used to always laugh. He used to say, you're doing the things. The things is, when he says the things, it means everything that's good and correct.
Yeah. MashaAllah.
So he used to always say to me like, you're doing the things. Like, you're praying, yeah? I'm like, alhamdulillah, yeah, I'm trying, yeah. He's like, okay, if you prayed, I'm like, Nazim, okay, go pray now before we start training. And it was for Ramadan, I've been fasting. He was like, give me a banana and stuff to break fast before we train. So he was like my first mentor.
Mashallah.
Because he saw me from when I was 10 before I was even Muslim, and I became Muslim, and then he kind of showed me the ways. So then I remember one day I was like, it became stressful. Like, once you're upon something, you know when you're doing the wrong thing. Like, you're not praying all the time on time and stuff. And I'm going to play, I'm in London, but I got a game in Cardiff. I got a game in Cornwall. I'm traveling for hours. I'm not praying in time at all because I'm focused on traveling to go and compete and play basketball. And in the environment it comes with, I got, in 2010, the same year I started practicing, I made it to a Nike Midnight Madness basketball tournament. It's like the top 20 under 20s in the country. Get to compete. I got to compete in that. But at the same time, it's like you're chasing this thing. And it became stressful because of all the politics. So I was not happy.
Yeah.
And I realised I don't even want to do this anymore. So I remember I went to my basketball coach and said, I want to practice. Like, I just want to practice Islam. I'm going to stop playing basketball. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to stop coaching as well. It was so ajib, like.
SubhanAllah.
But then I remember when I wanted to start practicing, I went to the masjid and said, look, can I work in the bookshop? They had a bookshop in the masjid, just within like the grounds of the masjid. I was like, yeah, I want to work in the bookshop. Don't even pay me, just give me books. And that's when I just started being around the brothers all the time. Ramadan's always the best time.
Yeah.
You see, and I think that's when I really started to feel that brotherhood and the likes. I was like, yeah, I want to take it to the next level, subhanAllah. I like this. So I was always in the bookshop. I'll be in the bookshop from 9 in the morning. I'm not leaving till midnight.
MashaAllah.
Because I'm going back home to
Read more.
to just not be among the Muslims. It's like, obviously my family wasn't Muslim. So you kind of stayed out as much as possible. And my local masjid doesn't close like that. So that was perfect for me. So I remember I just started, the first thing I started to do was learn how to read Quran. And learn how to read Arabic texts without learning the language yet. So when I started memorizing Quran, maybe 1 or 2 juz I'd memorized then, I was like, I need to know what this means. It doesn't make sense. Like, I know this, but I don't know what it means. The guy next to me is crying during Taraweeh. And I'm just looking at him, kind of thing. Like, why is he crying? And I don't understand a word. So I was like, yeah, I need to learn Arabic now. And that's when it started, like, properly. I started in Arabic in 2012. The 7th of January 2012. On a Saturday.
Here in the UK, yeah?
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
So I studied it for about 1.5 years Arabic, and then I went Kuwait, 2013. My first journey to a trip, in 2012 December, I went to Jordan, and I met some of the scholars there. I even saw Sheikh Al-Bani's son, rahimahullah.
No way, subhanAllah.
In the masjid, and I was like, subhanallah. Like, you start to see like the fruits of knowledge. And it's so, like, the journeys that come, like, I've travelled so much now, and I've met different types of people just because of Islam. And now that I know the Arabic language, it's just opened the doors even more. Like, I go anywhere, and it's like, I'm just here.
You have access to
everything
and everyone.
And for me, I couldn't read about Islam in English. When you look at English book about Islam, it's always, I feel like the translators or the authors want to show off language. It's not easy language. It's always complicated to read. So I never enjoyed it. So when I started in Arabic, because I'm not reading a book about Islam in English. Like, my whole library is all Arabic. I don't have an English book.
MashaAllah.
If I have it, it's not apparent. It's behind the book. And that was for me like the greatest feeling. Like, I only read Arabic. I learnt Islam in Arabic. So when I went to Kuwait for the 3-month intensive course, some people have started going now, but I was of the first ones who went 2013.
MashaAllah.
And that was, I thought it was for Arabic mainly, but no, because I'd done Medina books already, some of Bain Yadayk. I took a placement test, I got put in the highest level. Reading and writing, my speaking was dead then though. I couldn't speak properly to save my life. So I was like in the deep end. But then you realise, it's only 4 hours a week of Arabic. Everything else is like Islamic studies in Arabic. I was like, whoa, subhanAllah. First 2 weeks, this was over my head. I was struggling. But then after that, it became easy.
So understanding the terminologies and...
I'm studying tajweed, seerah, hadith, tafsir. I've never done this before. In English, let alone Arabic. So from that time, it was like, yeah, let's go. Like,
MashaAllah. What keeps you, like, the drive keep going, like everyone probably has like ups and downs in their zeal, but what keeps you like keep going? Is it just the
For me, I played basketball for about 10 years, solid, like chasing a dream.
yeah,
And I feel Allah gave me Arabic as my replacement of that.
inshallah.
So when I left off that for Allah's sake, He gave me the Arabic language. And because I love the Arabic language so much, after the first year and a half and I came back from Kuwait, the first thing I wanted to do was teach.
Mashallah.
That I can help others get that same feeling I get. And even now, I have classes when I'm teaching. To be able, I don't do it for the people, of course. But when you hear someone message you saying, like, Jazakallah khair, I haven't been practicing, I needed to hear that message. You know you're kind of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You see, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to benefit someone else, that you can get the reward for it, that's the best feeling. Knowing that you might be of those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or those who sit close to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We haven't met the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but our heart is yearning for it.
It's true, yeah.
You see. And the only reason you can ever feel low is if you're sinning. That's the only thing that will take you away from that. You see, the only way your iman is going to start going sideways when you start to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see. That's what I've come to realize. Anyone who feels low, we know iman decreases bil ma'asi, with sinning. So a person always has to look at themselves, like what are you doing? You're doing something wrong.
You have to introspect, see what you've done,
reflect.
Yeah. How did you find the difference, like in terms of studying in Morocco and Kuwait?
Morocco, unfortunately, is a beautiful place, but there's restrictions. Many restrictions in terms of the awqaf is mainly like Ahl Tasawwuf. So there's not lessons like that. Like I couldn't learn Quran in the masjid. Women can learn in the masjid, but you have to go to Dar al-Quran, like a certain place. You can't learn in the masjid kind of thing. However, the people is nice. And when I was in Morocco, I lived in the old town. It's very traditional, cultural. It's amazing.
Mashallah.
Like the masjid that was opposite my house is called Masjid Bu'ananiya. This masjid is like 900 years old. Down the road from my house is Qarwiyin, which is like the first university, and a massive masjid as well. So it's like you really feel that historical approach of Islam. Like imagine, subhanAllah, this masjid's been here for so long.
Yeah.
Like how many people's prayed here? Or I'm in the city that the one who wrote Ajrumiyya is from this place. In Fes, Morocco. He's from there. You see?
You were in Fez, yeah?
Yeah, I was in Fes.
Mashallah.
For 1 year. You been Fes?
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to go, but I haven't been there.
Fes is nice.
So would you recommend people to go to Morocco to study?
No. Why I say that? Because where I studied was a centre connected to my university. Other than that, it's very expensive. And you're studying books that are written by Americans. Not Arabic books, traditional. For me, alhamdulillah, because I already knew Arabic doing my degree, I had a private teacher. So I studied what I wanted to study. I chose the books to study. That's an opportunity that not many people get. So I really benefited from my time there. Because my teacher couldn't speak English. And he was an Arabic specialist. It wasn't like other Moroccans who, they teach English and they can teach Arabic. So because they can speak both languages, they're Arabic teachers.
Yeah.
But they're teaching like modern standard Arabic. That's more for university students here. So when I had this teacher, I was like, yeah, man, I'm not allowed. You can't give me any other teacher. I only need him. Because every 6 weeks you can change teacher. I said, no, I only need him. And alhamdulillah, I chose the books I studied. And he knew that I want to be an Arabic teacher. That's what I'm. So he taught me in that way. I remember I will answer something, even though my answer is correct, he said, nah, it's not acceptable from you though. If you want to be a teacher, you have to answer it a certain way to show that you're really grasping it. And that for me was the best experience.
So what would be the difference then in terms of how you'd answer?
So for example, I might give one example as in a simple sentence. Now you have to make it more complex, you see. Or I remember one question, I couldn't tell you this now, but there was like one question he gave me for my exam. There's 24 times that in the nominal sentence, the subject, which is the mubtada, comes before the khabar, the predicate. But there's times it can be reversed. Like there's 24 times. He said mention 20 of them with examples from memory. You see, that was my exam.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I did 23.
Mashallah.
The 24th one, I remembered it when I got in the taxi.
Subhanallah.
And I was like, But that's how he was teaching me.
Yeah.
Because you might just learn, okay, the types of khabar on a general basis, the types of predicate. Just one noun, a small sentence, something that looks like a sentence. But the actual deeper part of the language, or sometimes there's a difference of opinion. Okay, you have to mention that. But in a normal standard exam, that's not really that relevant.
Yeah. What would you say is the best approach to learning Arabic then? Is it because most people when they first start practicing they'll probably go to Medina books, maybe Arabiya Bayna Yadayk. What would you say?
I done Medina books.
Yeah.
So I think I can vouch for Medina books. But I also done some of Bayna Yadayk. And for me personally, it's how it's taught. And I believe many people who are even teaching Arabic don't know how to teach Arabic. You see, I done Medina books 1 to 3 in a year and 2 months, exactly.
Inshallah.
With 1 class a week at first, every Saturday an hour and a half. When we got to Medina book 3, it was 2 classes a week, both an hour and a half class. But it's how it was taught. Some people now are telling me they studied Medina book 1 for over a year, and or it took them 4 years to do Medina book 1 to 3, and they wonder why they still can't speak Arabic, or why they can't read a book in Arabic. You see, sometimes I teach privately. I had a brother, I taught him 1 to 3 in 6 months.
Mashallah.
You see, because it's about recognizing the students' level and giving them the information in a way they can use it. You have to have contact with the language. People who go abroad, whether they're speaking it every day, they're hearing it every day. You see? And even if the general people in that country don't speak Fusha, they speak dialect, they will speak some Fusha when they speak to you. Because they know you don't speak dialect.
Yeah.
See? But you have the opportunity every day. Here you don't have it, so you cannot extend the study program for so long. You see? Bayn Yadayk now, it also goes back to your intention. What do you want to achieve from the Arabic language? If you want to achieve spoken language first, then you study Bayn Yadayk, no doubt. Unless your teacher knows how to teach you to speak from Medina books.
Do you not think like if you learn Bayna Yadayk first and you start to like speak with it, then it can expand and make it easier for you to like learn further things? Like,
it can, because you have like the key aspects of communication. You see, with Medina books, it's very strategically planned for you to absorb grammar in a good way. But with Medina books, people have to remember there's other books that you have to study. There's about 12 other books. So if you go to Medina, you study these 12 books in 2 years. It's taken us 3-4 years to study 3 books. I'm wondering why we don't achieve anything. You see?
Yeah.
This is the problem. If you can combine between both, it's better.
Medina and Arabiya Bayna Yadayk.
Get the grammar from Medina, which is slow, and get the conversation from Bayn Yadayk. Bayn Yadayk doesn't introduce grammar till book 2.
Yeah.
So for me, when I studied Medina books first and I tried to do Bayn Yadayk after, it was very boring. Because I'm like, grammatically, I need the grammar. This is too slow for me. Because I already had a level of grammar where I could have really read Bayn Yadayk by myself. The benefit I would have got mainly would have been language use from the teacher, how to use the words correctly. Like
Mashallah.
this. But what the approach of Bayn Yadayk is a classical approach. Like, imagine you're a child. SubhanAllah, we learned this from Islam. When Islam came, even before this, the Arabs, what did they used to do when they had a newborn child? They would send them to the Bedouins.
Yeah.
For 2 years, from they're born. Not after. Why did they send them there? To learn Arabic. And because the nutrients of being in that environment, the breast milk was better. But to learn the Arabic language. Now we say a child doesn't know anything when they're young. No, from 0 to 2, they learn the Arabic language. How? Because remember, before you can speak, you're storing.
Yeah.
Storing words. Listen to how it's being used. As soon as you match your tongue to your correct teeth, when you're gonna start to express what you've heard. You see, you're gonna start to use all those things you heard all this time. Sometime when you have a child and you're gonna see it, inshallah,
Inshallah.
they will surprise you. You're like, where did you learn that from? But they learned it from you.
Yeah.
Or someone else around them. They've been hearing and listening. That's all they know at that time, to hear and absorb. And when the right time comes, they're going to express. That's the best way to learn Arabic language. Trust your teacher. Don't depend on the language you already know. Don't argue. Listen and obey. And use it as you've heard it. And that's the best way. I used to watch cartoons for children all day long, because cartoons are set at language usage of a child.
Yeah.
So this is common language you're going to hear and need to use as a child. So that's what you need to be watching first. And there's some really nice ones that are Islamic. You see, so you can benefit, subhanAllah.
Which ones did you used to watch?
There's one, Qasas al-Insan fil Quran.
Okay.
Stories of humans in the Quran.
I think I might have that, you know?
Yeah. It's all on YouTube.
Yeah.
Complete. And there's the stories of animals, stories of women in the Quran. But it's nice. Sometimes I used to catch myself imitating, like, اسمع ولا تكون عنيدا. Like, you start to really embrace it. Like, it's nice.
I've seen some online though, like I think it's in a Lebanese dialect or something though. It's like
dialect ones
kind of off. Yeah. It's hard to find the Fusha ones.
These ones, stories of humans in the Quran, Fusha.
I think when I'm saying that, I think I have a book of it. I think it was the.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a book for kids.
MashaAllah. But it's very nice.
Stories of people in the Quran.
I'll send you the link, inshallah. It's very, very nice.
Inshallah.
Very nice.
You used to watch it?
I used to watch it all the time on repeat. And Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi cartoon.
MashaAllah.
Oh, that was very nice as well. Yeah.
And it's all in Fusha, yeah?
All in Fusha.
MashaAllah.
Amazing. You know, some people are they're in love with this Ochogo show as well, isn't it? They've actually dubbed it in Fusha as well.
No way.
All of it now.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah. I would only watch it just for the Arabic.
Yeah.
I used to watch the Umar series at the time. I used to watch that on repeat. There's a new series called Imam Ahmed.
I heard about that. Is that out now?
Yeah. The Arabic. I only listen to these things for the Arabic. I don't take it as I'm learning the religion.
Yeah.
Which I find, if you're learning Arabic, you have to have this mentality. Don't try to learn your religion from these shows. Just learn the Arabic language.
Yeah.
You see.
There's a lot of like inauthentic and fabricated
That's the
stuff
problem.
in these stories.
Especially stories. The most fabrication occurs. So just learn the language usage, and that's it.
Yeah.
The only benefit you want from this is to hear language being used at a simple level for kids. Just a means of tarwih al-nafs.
MashaAllah.
Like enjoyment.
Why didn't you go to Egypt instead of Morocco, by the way?
When I was in university, we had the option. You go Egypt, Morocco, or Nablus.
So you did this as a part of your degree?
Yeah.
And
you have to go 1 year.
You done the degree here?
Yeah.
So what kind of degree?
So I did an Arabic degree.
Oh,
BA
mashallah.
Arabic, yeah.
Okay, mashallah.
So from what I heard of feedback from the Egyptian center was rubbish.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't think they have a long future with the university. The quality was rubbish. And even my year, students came back saying like there was times the teacher was just going through personal issues and it really affected the class. It wasn't professional. And Palestine, I didn't feel safe to go there. And even from what I heard, it wasn't pleasant.
Yeah.
Students who tried to come back for medication end up getting detained and the likes. I wasn't prepared to put myself through that. And Morocco, £30 flight, akhi.
MashaAllah.
I was looking at flights like last month to go this month or next month to Fez. Akhi, it was $22.99 return.
Right now, yeah?
Yeah. Akhi, $9.99 there, akhi, $12.99 back.
SubhanAllah.
You can't go wrong.
That's
3 hours, akhi.
Yeah. Yeah. SubhanAllah.
Akhi, that's Nando's on a Friday. Sacrifice one Nando's, akhi. You're going abroad, bro.
MashaAllah. It's true.
See what I'm saying?
Did you live there by yourself as well?
Yeah.
Like, how did you find in terms of like the cost of living?
Akhi,
and
I didn't
all
need
of
a
that
fridge
stuff?
for 6 months.
You didn't
I didn't need a fridge, akhi.
You were eating
I
out,
lived right in the market,
SubhanAllah.
in the old city. I come out, I buy the meat I need to cook today. The egg that came out this morning. Akhi, was amazing.
Mashallah.
Cheap, akhi. £20 when I had no money at one stage. I was even working teaching English there. I can't remember what I had to do. I moved house, so I had to pay a lot of deposit and stuff. So my money was low, but I could last 2 weeks on the £20.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, £20. And we have good brothers around you. That spreads.
Alhamdulillah.
Everyone shares, everyone eats. It's nice. Very nice. Cheap. Very cheap.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, I loved it there.
Yeah, you wouldn't recommend anyone to go there.
It's not to study.
What about other Islamic sciences? Like anything else?
They have a university at Qarbiyin, but it's changing as well. It's sad, it's changing. It's not as it used to be.
Yeah.
My friend that I met from Côte d'Ivoire, he graduated from there, but he said even there, yeah, it's changed a lot. Because of the pressure, there's not lessons that actively go on like that either as well.
MashaAllah.
Which is unfortunate. Because they have people of knowledge. Maybe there might be some places I'm not aware of where you can study that I haven't come across, but in Fes.
MashaAllah. Are you doing? Are you teaching as part of what's it called, Andalusi Institute, right?
Yeah, I teach on the Andalusi Institute.
MashaAllah. How's that going?
It's good. I run the conversational sessions, so I teach people how to speak.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
You going through any books with them or
that book that they got? The main substance of the course is Ben Yadik. The core book they study is Ben Yadik.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
You recommend the brothers and sisters to jump on that, yeah?
Yeah, it's good. Like there's been a lot of good results.
MashaAllah.
I run the weekly conversational sessions. So when I'll pick just various topics and we'll discuss it using the vocab you've learnt from studying the book. This will be the means of practice.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
And you're teaching also outside of
so I have my own classes as well. Recently I started teaching at City University with the ISOC. I run some class with the ISOC there.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
So where can the brothers and sisters find you if they want to come study Arabic with you, inshallah?
Inshallah, they can contact me. Yeah, there's no problem, inshallah. Yeah. If you have enough, I'm trying to set up something. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, I'm quite free at the moment.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. We'll put something in the description with your name and everything and contact details,
inshallah,
so they can come to you, inshallah, and study some good Arabic.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, we'll end it there. We're definitely gonna come again, have another little session, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. It'll be nice.
I hope you enjoyed your tea, bro. You haven't drank it yet.
I'm going to. It was a bit weird. I'm big. I don't want to move the microphone.
Nah, that's alright, bro.
You know, sometimes I'm clumsy. You have those accidents, yeah. I used to be that guy when we used to go on holiday. When we used to get back in the days, you get ice cream always in a glass cup, innit?
Yeah.
I'm the guy. That glass is getting smashed, 100%, 100%. By the time we leave, that's on the floor, and the dad's giving that Hawkeye like, I'm like, yeah, man. I can't. You see, if you went to the coffee shop, you can't give me the tray to hold. I need a plastic bag. I carry the coffee in the bag. I'm not holding nothing in the cup holder. In Kuwait, I'll tell you a story that happened to me. We lived in the desert, basically, yeah. So I ordered Hardee's. And it's like an hour trip, the guy to bring you Hardee's, yeah. And obviously, I got my large drink. I'm looking forward to this, like, burger meal, halal, mashallah. My big drink now. He's giving it to the cup holder, yeah. I've just picked it up, I just went, bang! It dropped. Sand got it one time. I'm just looking at the guy like, help me, like, don't you have a machine in your boot? Fix it, like. My drink's gone. I was gonna cry, literally. I meant to play football. I went home. I went to my room. I went to sleep. I was so upset.
Subhanallah.
But literally, because I didn't hold it from the bottom.
No.
Immediately, I'm like that, yeah.
قدر الله ما شاء فعل.
Yeah, subhanallah. You know when the Segway came out?
Yeah.
I was teaching at some student's house, yeah. These kids, they just got the Segway, like, oh yeah, uncle, have a go. I'm like, nah, man. They got a glass table in the middle of the room as well. He's like, no, have a go. It's me. Boom! Fell straight through the table. Alhamdulillah, it was double glazing. Didn't smash it, but oh my. That was embarrassing. I was on my back, literally, feet in the air. I was like, yep, Segway's not for me.
I haven't tried that stuff, man. I tried one of my friend's motorbikes. You know, Eamon. I tried his motorbike. And I was going like, he was like, yeah, mashallah, you're doing it. And then I revved it a little bit more, yeah. And I thought I was going to smack into something.
Subhanallah.
And then I just dropped. And then I was like, bro, never again, man. I haven't tried it again.
In Morocco, I crashed on a ped.
How was it?
That's why I stopped training. I damaged my ankle bad.
Subhanallah.
The roads there is Ta'aban.
Yeah.
You have holes that look like wells.
Subhanallah.
Literally, and I couldn't see it. I was behind a taxi. By the time I saw it, I was in it.
Subhanallah.
I went flying, literally, just flying. I closed my eyes like, there's no point, just embrace it.
Subhanallah.
That was the first 10 days of being in Morocco.
This year?
That happened. No, when I was in Morocco, the first 10 days of the year being there, I crashed on the ped.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
Sometimes Allah tests you to see like how serious are you about this? You're here now. How serious are you?
It was bad.
Subhanallah.
But alhamdulillah, it's nice. Yeah. Morocco is amazing. Have you been on a desert trip?
Yeah, we have. We've
when you stay in the desert overnight?
No, I haven't done an overnight thing.
There's a place called Mazoura.
Mazoura.
Mashallah, the Sahara. I stayed there overnight. Ride a camel for 2 hours to the destination. Stayed overnight. A 3,000-star hotel.
Subhanallah.
How was it? All you see is 3,000 stars. That's what they call it. Yeah.
Mashallah.
Amazing.
Yeah, tense.
Yeah.
It's not amazing. It's not too like windy or
not at all.
Nothing. Yeah. Just calm, relaxed.
Calm. Only thing is bats.
Bats in the
desert. But bats don't come for you. They come for the mosquitoes and stuff, which is good.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared, just keep dodging sometimes.
Subhanallah.
But it was amazing.
I get mosquito bites really quickly, man. So
yeah.
I was reading some article as well. Some people are actually more prone to getting it than others.
I got it in Dubai and no one else got it.
Yeah, so you must be like me, bro.
Yeah, in Dubai I got it. No one else got it.
Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah, I've been invited to some Dawrat in Dubai as well. So I was in Dubai April and December.
And you got a lot of mosquito bites, yeah?
Just on my legs though. Nowhere else. And it's like twice, the same place. Twice I went there, same place I got mosquito bite.
I get everywhere, man. I'll be wearing a thobe, shirt, everything. And I'll get my back, my legs, my arms, everything.
SubhanAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Got sweet blood, innit?
Sweet blood.
You have to go on a salad diet.
Comes with a
celery diet before you go. Like.
Comes with the price, isn't it? SubhanAllah.
No, mashallah.
Anyways, we'll wrap it up, inshallah. Time for Maghrib now.
No, inshallah.
We'll pray Maghrib, inshallah. And we'll drink some more tea. Inshallah.
No, barakallah.
Barakallah feekum for coming. And again, sometime soon,
inshallah. Jazakallah khairan.
No, barakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.